Welcome. Today's International Women's Day, and we're so honored you've joined us for this virtual conversation. I'm Josh Hutchinson, co founder of End Witch Hunt's nonprofit.
Hello, I'm Sarah Jack. I'm also a co founder and the executive director of End Witch Hunts. Today's theme is Give to Gain Justice for Women Accused of Witchcraft in Africa. And we are so grateful to be hosting this space that is for speaking truth, advocacy, and change.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Bingham, co founder of End Witch Hunts. And the three of us, Josh, Sarah, and myself, share something deeply personal that draws us to this work. We are all descended from people accused of witchcraft during the Salem witch hunt of 1692. And we are all three of us are descendants of Mary Esty. So we are related, which is kind of cool too.
For us, this isn't just history, it's also family. And it's that personal connection that led us to start our organization focused on addressing how women and vulnerable men and children around the world suffer today. Witchcraft accusations still occur around the world.
International Women's Day has its roots in grassroots activism going back to 1857 when female textile workers in New York City marched on March 8th to protest unfair working conditions and demand equal rights.
International Women's Day is still a critical call to action to accelerate gender equality and address ongoing gender based violence, including the persecution of women wrongfully accused of witchcraft.
A little about End Witch Hunts. We're a US based nonprofit dedicated to educating the public about both historical and contemporary witchcraft persecution. We raise awareness about harmful practices related to accusations of witchcraft and ritual attacks through public awareness campaigns, community memorials, and podcast conversations with advocates, academics, and leaders worldwide.
Our vision is a world without witch hunts where victims and their families do receive justice, are acknowledged, and are supported by their communities.
And Witch Hunts produces two weekly podcasts, The Thing About Witch Hunts and The Thing About Salem. And each of these podcasts amplifies witch hunt stories and quality content with individuals and organizations around the world. Before we hear from our incredible panel of experts, let's understand what survivors of witchcraft accusations face around the world.
Witchcraft accusations are still a major problem with devastating consequences for victims, including physical violence, social ostracization, economic deprivation, psychological trauma, and even death.
Harmful practices related to witchcraft accusations are cases when someone harms another person whom they suspect has bewitched them, their kin, or their property. Women, children, the elderly, and people with disabilities are disproportionately targeted.
In
Younger.
2021, In 2021, the UN Human Rights Council adopted Historic Resolution 47/8 on the elimination of harmful practices related to accusations of witchcraft and ritual attacks. The first resolution of its kind calling for a holistic approach to addressing these violations across the globe.
This year's International Women's Day theme, Give to Gain, takes on profound meaning when applied to the crisis of witchcraft persecution. Dr. Leo Igwe, one of today's panelists, has written powerfully on this. He wrote, "Witchcraft accusations have a female face. Women are disproportionately targeted, and the persistence of this persecution reflects a global failure to give time, resources, and protection to those most at risk."
He wrote about some recent cases. We're just going to mention them here, but we're going to hear from him today about these survivors and those who were attacked. The cases arriving in recent weeks make this urgency painfully concrete. In Imo State, Nigeria, a 49-year-old woman named Obajiri OT was accused of practicing traditional religion, beaten by vigilantes and police, and banished by her family, and arrested twice. She is currently ill in prison, waiting for a response from court. Her son has been detained and extorted. Her daughter was assaulted and fled, and she remains in hiding.
In Cross River State, an 86-year-old woman named Arid In Young was repeatedly threatened with murder by her nephew over witchcraft accusations. After advocates secured his arrest and an undertaking to stop, he was released, and then she disappeared. She has not been seen since late October. Advocates suspect that she has been murdered, and police have yet to intervene.
And in Lagos, a young woman named Adajat Pereira was allegedly killed in a ritual murder by her former partner. Her mother has paid police and petitioned for action. Advocates have visited the station in person. Still, no meaningful investigation has followed yet.
These cases represent thousands across Africa. They are, as Dr. Igwe writes, doubly victimized, targeted by accusers, and then abandoned by the very institutions meant to protect them. He says that is the crisis we are here to address today, and that is why giving matters.
We are honored to have with us today a remarkable group of advocates, legal experts, academics, and human rights leaders who are working for real and lasting change for women accused of witchcraft across Africa.
Please welcome Dr. Leo Igwe, a board member of the Humanist Association of Nigeria and of Humanist International. He holds a master's in philosophy and a doctoral degree in religious studies from the University of Bayreuth in Germany, where he wrote his thesis on witchcraft accusations in northern Ghana. He directs both the Advocacy for Alleged Witches and the Critical Thinking Social Empowerment Foundation.
We also welcome Chief Magistrate Sophia Musa Salihu, a Chief Magistrate from Northeast Nigeria, Bauchi State, and Vice Chairman of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, Bauchi Branch. With a mandate to protect vulnerable women and children, she works directly to address witchcraft allegations through legal advocacy.
And please welcome Dr. Barrister Bize Aldbize Gadi Harry, a barrister and doctor from Bayelsa State, South Nigeria. She is with the Dise Ogbise Foundation and the Association of Women Against Gender-Based Violence, working to protect women and girls from gender-based violence, including witchcraft accusations.
And please welcome Hawa Mundi, a broadcast journalist with Radio Nigeria, a social media influencer, and a member of Advocacy for Alleged Witches. She uses the power of media and public voice to amplify the stories of those accused of witchcraft across Nigeria.
I'm also going to welcome my Nuna Mohammed. Mohammed is representing the Niger State branch of Advocacy for Alleged Witches and serves as an information officer at the university in Minna.
I believe they just entered.
I think so.
Yes.
That's great. Okay.
Before we move forward, we want to pause and honor those who have come before us. To the women throughout history who were accused, persecuted, and killed in the name of witchcraft. To the survivors today who carry these wounds, we hold space for all of you in this moment.
And then we're going to do a minute of silence. I have a special slide we're going to put up during this to kind of help us focus on that. So we'll go ahead and start that minute now. Thank you.
Now we want to open the floor to each of you. Let's start by giving every panelist a few minutes to tell us about your work, your organization, and what you most want our audience to understand about what is happening on the ground. Please take a moment to share what you need for people to know.
Right. Um, Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mary. Um, Thank you, George. And thank you, and Witch Hunt's organizers and supporters for making this event possible. Happy International Women's Day to everyone. Yes, my name is Leo Igwe from the Advocacy for Alleged Witches. AFAO is a humanist initiative to end witch hunts in Africa. It started in 2020. We started in 2020, even though the campaign against witch hunts, had been going on before then. With a decade of activism, our goal is to make witch hunt history by 2030. So we're just halfway, but it's like we're all even starting. So the challenge is huge, as we're gonna see. So the main objective is to provide, to supply those missing links in the theorization and conceptualization of witchcraft in Africa, and in the activism and combat against witch hunt in the region. So we are looking at the problem at two different levels: at the level of explanation, theorization, and at the level of activism. And now, for us, AFAO, these missing links, and they're legal, they're human rights, they're educational, they're humanitarian, they're political, they're economic, they're social, they are largely responsible for the persistence of witch hunts. Not because witch hunting is a part of the African culture, because what we often read about is that, yeah, it's part of African culture. It's not because witchcraft accusation serves any useful purpose or is of domestic value or a stabilizing mechanism that Western anthropologists and the African acolytes would make us understand. So what we are trying to do is to supply those missing links in the understanding of witch hunts and in the fight against witch hunts. Now, how are we doing this? And I want to tell you that the topic of this year's International Women's Day has actually made it clear. What it is the problem is going on because we have refused to give. Yes, we have refused to give as Nigerians, as Africans, and as the world. And that is why we have not gained that kind of progress. We have not made the progress we should. And now I'm going to use the cases we have already highlighted here to let us understand, how our inability to give, or even if we are giving, we are not giving enough, that has made it possible for this witch hunting to continue. Now, let's take the case of Obiageli Oti. Now, this woman is a traditional and indigenous religious worshiper. Now, on Friday, just Friday, she was charged in a magistrate court and remanded. Those behind her predicament are the family members who are conniving with the police to put her in jail. And what was the crime? That she brought what they call traditional deities, because here in Nigeria, and I think in many parts of Africa, traditional deities are often demonized by the Christian believers because they regard them as fetish and evil and a form of witchcraft. So people feel very Christian believers, and of course their Muslim counterpart, they feel very uncomfortable. So they asked her to remove those traditional religious objects, but she refused. So what they did, and some of the Christian members, two of them they live in the United States. So and what usually happens here is that they have financial upper hand, and they can pay the police, they can pay the vigilante, they can bribe the traditional chief. In fact, they can buy over anybody just to make sure they do whatever they want them to do. So that is exactly what happened. And they now brought in these police officers. And when they came, they didn't take away anybody. They didn't arrest anyone. They just forced their way into the compound and then took away some pieces of wood. Yes, pieces of wood, carved wood. That was what they took away. And I went and they showed me and they told me that that was the deity. Packed them somewhere in plastic bags. So, but yeah, pieces of wood, but to the people it's not. It's evil. It's something that should be removed. So, Obiageli, they resisted these people, but of course, they now made a case out of the resistance by charging her to court for attempted murder and assault, so that eventually they got her remanded. So what we are doing right now is, first of all, to make sure that they don't change the story, because they want to remove the aspect of they are going to remove that they're forcefully removing the deity from the compound. They want to remove that story. So what happens is that accusers want to change the narrative and make it a narrative of attempted murder, not a narrative of punishing them maybe for having these traditional deities which they detested. So that's what we try to do. So there's a media war going on between the accusers who try to make a case of an assault and us who are trying to let them understand that this was something provoked by their bringing vigilante people to come and remove those deities, as they said. So what we are also doing now is to provide them legal support, and representation. So we have hired a lawyer. The lawyer will be there on Thursday when her case will be coming up so that we could make a case for her bail. We are also supporting them in terms of providing the family, because the husband is blind and he's not working. So they need transport money to go to prison. They need transport money to go to the police station. The children, they are scattered. Some have fled. So they also need money to move around. So it's been very tough trying to, in other words, fill in those gaps that would have eventually made these people doubly victims. So another case we have is that of it has been mentioned, Harriet Inyang. I met Harriet Inyang some years ago, and she was among the people who have been supporting in her region. And she told us about how she was constantly being accused, because if you're an elderly woman, you are living alone, especially in rural areas, you are likely going to be, you are vulnerable and likely going to be accused. So she was accused severally. We tried to support her by, of course, trying to invite her over, provide her with some of her necessary needs, and then send a message to accusers, to let them know that what they were doing actually is a guy called Anthony, just to let him know that what he was doing was criminal. So, but we thought that by bringing the police and getting him to sign an undertaking would actually make him to refrain and stop accusing the woman. But he came back short after that, the woman disappeared. And we have not seen her up to today. And this happened to the end of October. And we have sent a petition to the police. But if you send a petition to the police, it's not enough. You also have to pay the police to come and investigate the case. So, and if you don't pay them enough, they may not even be very enthusiastic in doing it. So what we do is that we go into a kind of conversation with them to know exactly what the issue is. Do you need a vehicle? We can provide a vehicle. We can buy the fuel, just to fill in those gaps, just to give, because there are things these people cannot provide. I mean, an elderly woman not doing anything, or the relatives not there. Okay, in this case now, she's disappeared. So apparently somebody has to step in, in quote, on her behalf, is supplying those missing links. Otherwise, nothing will be heard about her. So that's exactly what we are trying to do at the moment. So we are working with the police to see if they could get to the house, because the house is still locked since October. So some people are speculating, has she died inside? I said, if she had died, maybe there could be a smell coming out. Nobody knows what is inside the room. So the police doesn't want to come. So we are trying to know exactly what happened, at least so that we can, begin to understand, what could have happened to her. So that's exactly where we are with that. Now, we have this third case of Adija Pereira. Yeah, she was murdered last year. February, this February, just that was a year since she was killed, allegedly killed by boyfriend. And, and we call it ritual killing because they they went into they broke into the house, saw the corpse, that blood drained into some calabash, a little bit of some items on the floor. So the mother suspected, other people suspected that it was a case of ritual killing. So the ex-boyfriend now disappeared. But actually, from what we understand, the guy is still in Lagos, but the family is shielding him from being tried or arrested uh, as a result of what he. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to persuade the police to do what they're supposed to do. So the police said, "Oh, we need some money for tracking. We need to track the numbers." So they asked the woman to bring some money. We supported the woman. She gave some money for tracking. Now, since then, we have not heard from them. Are you not tracking? Oh, we are tracking. Oh, we still have a lot of work. They keep giving us excuses upon excuses. So we don't know, and we don't think they're even doing tracking, but they have collected money to track the suspect. So what we're planning to do now is to write to the Commissioner of Police again so that they can reopen the investigation, and so that maybe reassign it to a new police officer, of course, who is going to also demand also some mobilization money and things like that. So in summary, that all these people are suffering because Nigerian society has refused to give. In fact, this evening, in fact, shortly before we started this session, I spoke with the PPRO, that's Police Public Relation Officer of Nasarawa State, is in the, let's call it in Nigeria, we can call it the Middle Belt, that's close to Abuja. Because there was this elderly woman, she was accused of witchcraft, and the children, actually, two of them were threatening to kill her. So the police arrested, in fact, it was Howard that brought it to my attention. So I contacted the PPRO, and the PPRO told me that they've arrested two of the children, and they found them with a gun, took the gun, and the woman is in protective custody. So what we want to do is that we have to reach out to the woman to understand how we can help her, because sometimes when they say in protective custody, they put a person in jail where they put criminals and people are awaiting trial. So because sometimes they don't have really facility for people like this. So we want to understand what does protective custody now mean, and from there we try to explore either with a supportive member of the family or someone who can help us at least make sure that the woman is not doubly victimized. Police will put her maybe where they put maybe some suspects or criminals, as the case may be. I'm just saying what just happened a few minutes ago, before we started this conversation. So yes, it is important. The International Women's Day theme for this year is reminding Africans, is reminding Nigerians that they are not giving. And that is why we are not gaining the mileage we need to end witch hunts. And that's why it has been seen as witch hunting is part of African culture. It's not part of our culture. Our culture is not to be killing our mothers and killing our children as a result of some suspicion of witchcraft. No, it's because of we have refused to give. And I think that it is a reminder for Africans to give their time, give their energy, give their expertise, and also give their on any kind of skill they have, put that at the disposal of these women, so that this witch hunting will come to an end. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. And then another one of our lovely speakers, would you please take the floor and tell us about your work?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can see me to try to get my video on. I don't know if it's on. And my name is Dr. Marisa Dise Obuse Kodihari. Just like I've been introduced,
I'm the National President, Association of Women Against Gender-Based Violence. Also, the founder of the Disorder Safe Foundation. DOO Foundation has been in existence since 2017, while the Association of Women Against Gender-Based Violence came up in 2024. For us in DOO Foundation, we stand for justice, security, and development for the vulnerable persons in our society. For us, if we have a just society, we're sure we secured and developed society for vulnerable women and children. Now, I just want to say that I'm excited being one of the panelists here because these are conversations I've always desired to have. But I think this year's theme, it's time for us to focus more on issues of witchcraft accusation. So I'm excited to be here. Now, I also want to state that the issue of witchcraft issues is something that I came from it. Even at my age, I came and met it. My mom came and met it. It's something that has been on, and I feel that we're not taking time to look at the issue of witchcraft accusation because it's like a norm in our communities in Nigeria, in the African setting, in the Niger Delta setting. Is that a norm? That one is a witch. That girl is a witch. It's just there. Even in schools, you see some persons accusing some persons. My mom told me that her mother is a witch, and then this girl too must be a witch, and all of that. It has always been there. So I'm happy that we're taking conscious effort now. Joining the work of Mr. Leo to see that in the Niger Delta region in Nigeria, if we reduce it to its barest minimum. I also want to say that the work we do in those foundation, like I said, we just don't. I'm a human rights activist. So whoever discriminates upon an individual is looking for my trouble and I want it out. And that's what we have been doing in the foundation. I'll just mention 3 instances and just give an update. 2 of them, Dr. Leo is aware of them. Actually, 3 of them is even aware of these cases in Bayelsa State. I'll start with one that the man is now denying. One man, Elizabeth, her husband has been accusing her of being a witch. And he went as far as accusing the daughter because the daughter is like the mom. We have been on the matter, but we wanted to take legal steps against him because he actually made that pronouncement in public glare. But the wife still wants a marriage, so decided to pedal on it. We've not done any petition yet against the man because when I had meetings with them, the man was denying. He said because she called him an occultist, that's why he called her a witch. But it's clear that that's part of the reasons why he wants to divorce his wife. They are separated right now. But in some of these cases, you cannot just say you want to handle these cases when the victim or the person that is being directly involved is not ready to pursue the matter with you. It will look like you are just on a voyage of no discovery. When the person that is involved is saying, let's subpedal, I want to say I can still get my marriage back. So that's for the woman. And then we had one very disturbing case. And Dr. Leo, thank you so much. You were on this matter. And I believe we'll reawaken the matter, we'll revive the matter. This is a case of about 4 children whose father beat them up mercilessly. In fact, it's supposed to be a case of attempted murder because if you see the pictures, I think Dr. Leo had those pictures. I have them. We can share them with you later on. This father, a police officer, used machete, used all the weapons he could use. That a prophet told him that his children were witches. This man beat them. So it was all over the news in Bayelsa State in the Niger Delta region. But unfortunately, we had a setback. A major setback was our commissioner, the commissioner of police. He's no longer there. That's why I'm saying we might have to revive the matter. Who intervened and said that in fact, we couldn't even do what we were supposed to do. It was really frustrating at the point I couldn't get to the police station again because I became their enemy at the police station. These children, if not for Dr. Leo, they had to send money. We had to take care of their medical bills. We had to take care of their feeding and all of that. But the police frustrated our matter because the perpetrator was also a police officer. As I speak with you, we don't know where the children have been taken to. They said they were handed over to their mother that has never been with them. Police officer is nowhere to be found. And even the Nigerian Bar Association came into the matter. They could not follow up the matter. FIDA was part of it. At the point, it was like we were threatening, we were facing different sorts of threats. So everybody left. I was like, the one standing with Dr. Leo. And in fact, it was really a frustrating case. As I speak with you, Dr. Leo even sent money for their accommodation. He was ready to feed them for the next 6 months. Those children, I don't know how their lives will be. If you see the pictures, you'll start crying. You will be so devastated, you'll be crying. They were at the verge of losing their lives as I speak with you. But at the end of the day, the police frustrated us. The investigating police officer refused to tell us where they took the children to upon this moment. Thank God we still have the petitions and all that. Now that the previous commissioner of police has been transferred, we are going to revive that matter because we need to know where those children are. That name will be with them for life. Everybody in Bayelsa State is aware of the matter. The neighbors are calling them witches and all of that. It is how bad it is with issues of witchcraft accusations. Now, the other one is the one that the man took sniper after killing all his children. He gave them a poisonous substance. He killed his children that the prophet said they were witches. And then he killed the children, killed himself, killed his entire family. Those are the cases that happened in Bayelsa State. I also want to say that in Bayelsa State, this issue of witchcraft or accusation is something that I will need support to do a lot of campaigns and all that because it's common. It's something that they feel that is normal. They do not look at it from the fact that it's illegal, it is wrong, and all of that. So what we can do right now, for me, I would suggest that the team is apt. We must give back to society with the knowledge that we have, our legal knowledge, the experiences we've had. We must do radical campaign in the Niger Delta region, telling them that it's illegal. It is wrong for you to accuse it. In fact, it's strange to our laws. Myself and Dr. Leo, we're talking about doing a pidgin English, a special English jingle, where we have to play it on radio, play it in the communities and all of that, and tell them the consequences of all of that. But in a nutshell, I'm excited to be here. These are some of the experiences I've had, but there's need to go to the communities where this thing really happens. Sometimes when the person dies, they will go to I don't know what it is. I don't know where they go to. Their seers will say, this woman was a witch. They won't bury the person properly. So even when the person is dead, the person still goes through serious persecution and discrimination. Now the person was accused of a witch before the person died. The person is now dead. And the person also will not get a dignity burial. We said the dead are not here, but at least why would it be that there is more prosecution and persecution again for such persons that are dead? So these are the few comments I would like to make for now and wait for further conversations as we make progress. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm
Thank
done.
you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
For now, yes.
One of our next speakers, would you like to share? Hawa, Safia, Mamana, anyone?
I was hoping this child would have slept before I get the chance to say anything. Hopefully she doesn't distract me. It's an honor being here. I don't have as much to say as my mentor, Dr. Igwe, and the barrister has said, because they are the ones on the field. We try to do advocacy using the media, social media, and traditional media. That Dr. Leo a couple of times on my program on Network Service of Radio Nigeria. It's a network program, so it's listened to in all 36 states of the Federation and beyond. So what we try to do is, I always say we shouldn't wait till there are attacks, till there are accusations before we talk about it, because the problem is not in the accusations. The problem is in the belief system, the belief that there is something called witchcraft, right? So the accusations are deep, the accusations and the harmful practices are deeply rooted in the superstitious beliefs and sometimes religious beliefs. As a matter of fact, both major religions practiced in Nigeria are major contributors in this problem, because when you tell people, okay, there is no such thing as witchcraft, because we're trying to disabuse their minds from believing it, not even the practices believing it in the first place. They tell you they can't subscribe to that school of thought because their religions teach them that this thing exists. So if God has told me to be wary of these people, who are you to tell me they do not exist? So that is where the fundamental problem is, the belief that there is actually something like witchcraft. And that is why what Dr. Leo does with his critical thinking project is important, because we need to change the mindset of people. We need to challenge this beliefs. We need to question this superstitions, so that they can know that these practices are not just harmful, but they are baseless. There's also the issue of our healthcare system not be functional. Right now, I have a sister-in-law who is showing signs of mental health issues, but she keeps insisting she has a friend who is a witch, who is responsible for the voices she's hearing and the things she's seeing. And it will surprise you that this person lives in northwest Nigeria, where we don't even have um, that much cases of harmful practices against people who are accused of witchcraft. But just so you know that that belief system is there. People believe these people exist, they have powers to do things. And because our healthcare system is not really um, functional, it's very poor. So it's hard for them to believe that these things they are seeing as sicknesses or things that do not have answers actually have medical explanations. If they do not understand what's happening, as far as they're concerned, it's the witch who who is responsible. So what we do on our part is trying to disabuse the harmful practices. Well, I also want to correct Dr. June. I think you said something about, can you people hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay.
we can.
Okay. I think my network froze a little. Okay, there was also something Dr. Leo mentioned about Christians persecuting traditional worshippers. We also have Muslims did the same thing in Para State. The matter of fact, in January, a woman lost her house. Her neighbors burnt house down because she was a traditional worshipper. And we've had threatenings in Para State by Muslims because they are traditionalists. So these issues are not just we don't experience it just from one side. It's a general problem, both Christians and Muslims.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sophia, would you like to speak?
Yeah. I have already been
Sophia, would you be able to speak a little louder into your device?
Okay. Okay. Well, I said I have already been introduced as Chief Magistrate Stephen Musa and Vice Chairperson Peter PA, Bauchi International Federation of Women Lawyers, Bauchi. And in FIDA, what we do is that we focus on protecting, promoting, and preserving the interests of women and girls, particularly those that are vulnerable in the society. And you agree with me from what my the other speakers have said, the women targeted mostly are women. So what we do in Kenya is actually no, the same thing is what is being done there at the advocacy for other religions. They also protect the interest of the Muslim side. Now, the thing is that at the grassroots level, we realize that a lot of the people, the women, and the people are being attacked do not really know how to, protect them. What about seeking for redress when they have been, or when their rights have been infringed upon? So we try to take it from a grassroots level. In FIDA came up with something. We call it paralegal training. So far, we have trained 12 paralegals from four local governments. Now, these paralegals, we taught them a little bit about law so that when such things occur, when someone is unjustly accused of being either a witch or is being targeted, you know, for any offense or just at least there's somebody close to her at that time, somebody she can reach out to. Because mostly, like I said, victims are women, aged women, and poor women that don't really have. Because I'm yet to come across cases where the victim is actually a well-to-do woman or a highly educated woman. Those women that are targeted mostly are poor women, destitute women, women that do not know how to stick to a dress. Hence, the attack being, you know, and carried out against the next student. So these paralegals that we have trained are there to, liaise between the community, the members of the community that are being targeted, and then the authority. And like I said, we taught them a little bit about law, we told them about networking, a little bit about hierarchy of court, so that when they have been attacked, they can reach out to our courts. Like in the United States court, where I reside, you can you can come straight to the court and voice your grievance without even being represented. Though we have freedom to protect and other NGOs that are there to assist. But a lot of the people, the people that are being attacked do not really know what is expected of them. They don't know about the NGOs, feeders, or even the Ministry of Justice, where we have Department of Citizens' Rights, where you can go and seek for redress. So, like when somebody said, and the doctor, what she said, we need to carry out campaigns, awareness campaigns, and teach people at the grassroots level that is what you are expected to when you are being attacked. So those are the things that needs to be done. We need to campaign drastically from the grassroots level, though we have started. And see that with this training of paralegal, it's going to assist us in real lot. But right now, our hands are tied because of financial strain. But so far, so we are doing a lot. And from the little that we have been able to act, we know that we're getting somewhere. Yes. So those are kind of things that should put in place, to assist us to go further. What to carry out, paralegal trainings, what to send them out to other localities so that we can have people on ground that can assist members of the community when they are being attacked unjustly. You know,
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And, I wanted to check and see um we have one more, speaker. Maynuna, would you like to say some words before we move into our discussion questions?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nemanat. I'm from Niger State. I am going to be coming from the point of a victim. I grew up being called a witch. Myself, my mom, and my stepmother, because our father died earlier. So I lost him at 10, and the entire community, we were treated with we were treated bad, right? People don't want to interact with us. I remember one time I was 10 and someone carried cutlass to harm my mother, because according to them, she killed her husband. In my community, Nupe community, oftentimes when a man dies, they accuse the wife. So in this case, not just my mother was accused, but also her children that were responsible for his death. And a lot of dehumanizing things happened at the time, and nobody in the community said anything. Nobody stood for us. We were treated like we were not a member of that community. We were not part of the community. And it stayed for more than 20 years. I didn't know there was I didn't know of any organization, anybody, anything, anyone at all that you could speak to about the behaviors, or do I say the accusations and the actions that come from people of the community. And we had to endure all of this until I met Mr. Leo. And I come to realize that actually there is a law that says that you can't accuse people wrongly. But could it be that people are not informed about these laws? People do not know their rights? Or is it that we do not have access to people who would help us when we are in situations like this? Because I tell you, it's not easy. It was not an easy experience for any of us. Imagine growing up in a community where nobody wants to talk to you, nobody wants to interact with you. When you come, they chase you away like you're a plague. And it's not just 1 year, for over 20 years. If I want to get married now, if it's in my community, they will tell you that girl, that she and her mother are witches. I don't know if you understand. It affected us for a long time. Even though I am educated, my mom also has some level of education, but the rural community, they don't care. There's no leader. And just like someone said, one of the speakers said earlier, that the religion, I don't know if it's the interpretation or the part that we choose to believe, or we choose to interpret. They will tell you that when you tell people that you don't believe in the existence of witchcraft, they will tell you that, oh, God said that you should seek protection from evil eye. That means there's witchcraft. If God is saying there's witchcraft, who are you to tell them there's no witchcraft? And when you are a big example of the witchcraft in your community, at a point you begin to assume, or you begin to question yourself, are you sure I'm not a witch? Okay, and how do I even know if I am not a witch? I don't know if you can hear me. So I am so happy that there's a campaign, right? People are beginning to talk about these accusations. Sometimes people get killed. Yes, people get displaced, people get harmed. And like I said, my mother was almost killed because they assumed she killed her husband. But when we now talk about it every now and then, people get to know that, see, you need to visit the hospital. One of my cousin at the time, she's a sickle cell patient. Yeah. Anytime she's having a crisis, she would say that is one of the witches that is dealing with her. She knows that she was born with this. She has been dealing with this for ages. She knows, but then she still says that, oh, it's one particular person that is making her sick. And the entire community believe that, yes, this is the person making her sick. And you know that this lady has problem. I don't know if it's just, we just choose to believe it. I don't know, because they know that she's sick. So I think when we have platforms like this, when we have people talking about it, when we have actions being taken, not just when we talk about it, when someone is accused, let there be actions, let it be clear, let everyone see it, let there be consequences. That is the only time we can stop it. Other than that, it is becoming a normal thing. I can talk about my own community. It's becoming a normal thing. A woman lost her husband, she killed him. A man lost his wife, or a woman does not have a child, she's a
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have some more conversation now.
Yeah, our first question, it's for everybody. How does witchcraft persecution specifically affect women in Nigeria or in your region?
Okay, let me go first. Overall in Nigeria, I think women are not as powered as the men. I think it's an African thing. I don't have the data, but like someone mentioned, I think it was the barrister. Most of these women who are accused are less privileged. You never see an educated woman, an empowered woman, or a woman who is financially stable and independent being accused of witchcraft. So it affects them more because they are vulnerable financially, emotionally, and it affects them more because the more, just like Safia is saying, the more is it Safia Mimuna, the more um, disadvantaged you are in the society. For someone who has been accused of witchcraft, she's less likely going to find, even if she has a business to do, the community is likely not going to patronize her business because nobody wants to buy anything from a witch. If she's a nurse, even in the hospital, she could face, even if it is a woman who has been to school and is empowered to an extent, she could face systematic persecution. Because if she has a patient in the hospital, everyone will say, look, don't let her inject you, or don't let her treat you because you're likely not going to survive. So it's a vicious circle that needs to be broken. Women need to be empowered so they can face less, they can be less vulnerable, basically.
Thank you so much. Who would like to speak next?
Would any of the other speakers like to pull a thread on the woman's experience before we move on to a different question?
I want to speak. Okay, I think I also want to come in here. Hello?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I will say that I like the experience of the speaker before, the magistrate that just uh, gave an insight on the question you asked. It affects women negative. The woman that is being accused will never be the same again, except she gets psychosocial support. Because our life is no longer the same anymore. Like somebody said, you're going to the market, can't even work freely, your children cannot get married, cannot do things where you work. So it's something that affects women negatively. Like the lady I mentioned that I talked about, is already affecting her around the environment. As she's walking, she just sees people talking about her. "Ah, her husband left her because she's a witch and all that." So it's something that affects women negatively. And then, like somebody also said, the issue of poverty. One cannot even go to court to sue for defamation of character and all of that. So it's not something that is good at all. It affects women generally. That's the women that have been accused. It affects them negatively. You can imagine our friend that is here now, over 20 years, see what she went through, and she couldn't even find help. So it's something that is not good and it affects women negatively. Thank you.
Yes, Hawa?
Yeah.
Yes, I also wanted to make reference to what Maimuna said. it also ends up affecting the victim psychologically. You heard her say sometimes she even questions her own sanity. Am I actually a witch? Once you get to that level, you could also potentially face mental health issues that would make them convinced further that there's actually something wrong with you. So that's another issue.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out to us. And I'm not going to say much, but I just, those of us who look at the historical witch trial victims of witch hunts, that is also an aspect of that. They believe that there are witches and they're being called one, so then maybe they are one. That is a very sad part of that experience that we have read about in history, and of course, that is following through in our experiences in the world today. Would anybody else like to speak to this?
Yes, I was saying that it's really because the society condones it. That even though there are laws that you know there for the victims to fall back on, but the fact that the society itself is not doing anything, and that includes the legal as actors ourselves. We are not doing much. We have the constitutional provision under Chapter 4, which talks about human dignity. And then we have the criminal code and the penal code that are applicable both in the South and the North, that actually punishes the accuser. But we don't really care to use those laws. Why? Because the society condones it. So these are the issues that should be looked at. And then, like we said, we need to create awareness to ensure that people really understand what needs to be done when they are being accused unjustly. So that somebody can just walk into my court, for instance, without being represented. You can walk into a magistrate court and say that you have grievances, even if you don't have a lawyer. And then you go to the registry, you reduce your grievances, in writing, and they'll direct you that this is the procedure without actually being represented. So those are the things that needs to be, voiced out and explained to the populace that this is how you can go about seeking for redress. Like our friend earlier on told us about her experience. If she had known that such things, there are avenues that you can reach out to the, law enforcement to ensure that their rights are enforced, she wouldn't be in this situation. Even with the police attitude, you can reach out through the, NGOs or even the Ministry of Justice. I was once a state council. There's a Department of Citizens' Rights where you can go and tell them that I have a problem. This is what I'm facing. Please, I need to be heard. You can even walk to a radio station and tell them that I'm being persecuted and innocent. I don't know what is happening, but members in my community are doing this and that to me. You can be heard over the air. There are ways of, you know, going out and telling the world that this is what is happening to me. The world like now is like a global village. You can reach out through the internet. You can tell the world that I'm being persecuted. You don't need to suffer in silence. So by coming out and talking about these issues, telling the people that this is how we can go about to seek for redress, a lot can be achieved. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to chime in a bit. And of course, I thank the previous speakers for their contribution. I think I'm looking at it from two angles. First of all, patriarchy. Yeah. In a male-dominated society, the woman is made to, feel is treated as a subordinate. So if you want to challenge the norm, somebody has talked about, it's becoming a norm. Yes. Those things are fluid. They are patriarchal norms. They're not the norm. They are patriarchal norms. So if you want to challenge it, you also have to ask yourself, what's the consequences of challenging it? So a lot of people are afraid of going to the police because they're worried about the consequences. Okay. Because in many places, if you call police for somebody, in fact, you're even ostracized. You even get punished for doing so. So that's the reason. That is why, I'm talking so much about the idea of giving. Yes, we have to begin to look at, giving in terms of letting people who suffer accusation, women who suffer accusation, providing them what they lack. And that's exactly what we are doing at the Advocacy for Alleged Witches. Do they like support to go to the police? Provide them with that support. Help them write a petition. Okay. Or help them, get them a legal representative. Because from our experiences, as soon as other side, the accusers, get to understand that these people have a lawyer and they might take them to jail, they start dialogue, they start negotiate. Just like now, the woman in prison now, we want to make sure we are launching the fundamental right action next week. We are putting a lawyer and all that. So I'm sure they didn't expect the intervention of our file at all. They didn't see it coming. So as soon as we do that, they begin to negotiate. So I think we have to find out what are those things missing and try to provide the women, whether it's political, economic, financial, legal. We have to identify them and give it. That's what they're telling us this year. We need to give them those things so that we can gain. We are not gaining because we are not giving. We have lawyers, but those lawyers are not giving. We have courts. Those courts are not giving. Police officers, they are not giving. In fact, they are taking. They're extorting money from them. They want them to pay for fires. They want them to pay for the pen used to write. They want to pay for food, the fuel, the car. So instead of giving to these people who are victims, we are taking from. And that is why the topic of this year's International Women's Day is very important. Nigerians begin to give. Yes, begin to give these people. Stop exploiting them. Stop taking from people you're supposed to give. So if you ask me, that is exactly what we need when it comes to the situation of women and how we can change it for better.
Maya Nunat, did you have another comment to make?
Yes, I was going to point out that when these advocacies, when we are coming up with these campaigns, it's important that we use local dialects. We use the dialects because majority of these accused are from the rural community, people who settle in the rural communities. So if you're doing a campaign and it's urban centered, you see that at the end of the day, what you may not achieve what you intend to, because people who really need this message do not get to, they don't get it. So when you are taking this goodwill, you should go to the communities, the villages. Those are the places that majority of the women suffer accusation.
Thank you so much, everybody. We've been hearing a lot about the barriers standing between meaningful protection and justice when women who are accused are experiencing violence and facing legal trouble. What can we do? How does giving help us break down those barriers?
Yes. Right
Yes.
now we're giving. Right now we're giving. We're trying
Yes.
to tell people that this is what you need to do. We need to to reach out to the people at the grassroots level, explain to them that this needs to be done. When you are being accused, don't just sit there. Come out. Like I said, it must not necessarily be through the police. It's better to reach out to the courts yourself. Go straight to the courts. Don't be afraid. Just walk into any court and you'll be guided that this is the procedure. Come here, come to the registry. I will reduce everything into writing. The registrars are there and the support staff. When you tell them your story, they will write it down. Even if you are not, you don't know how to write, they will do it for you and they'll take it to the open registry at the High Court, for instance, and they will now assign it back to the court where you started.
Then from there, it will be listed for filing. Then after that, of course, the invitation will be sent out to the accuser. And maybe a date will be set, like 3 days, 4 days from the very day you reached out. You come out, we read out the complaint, and you tell the court whether it is true or not. If it's true, you tell us, and we'll take it from there. If you deny it, then the other person may have maybe a witness or two, or she can testify on her behalf. And that is it. It's not a big issue. That is how it's done. But if you go to the police, of course, the police will start asking for money. They'll tell you that they need money for fuel, like my brother said. From there, money for this, money for service, money for that, money for file, and what have you. But if you come straight to the court, you won't have any issue like that, at least at the lower court. And like I earlier on explained, we have, people on ground that we are training. Yes, we have done that in 4 localities. We have 12 on ground now. So as we are reaching out, as we are talking to the people, making them understand that these things you are not supposed to, they are not part of our community. It's not part of our culture. Like someone said, even the religion, I know that in Islam, there's nothing like witchcraft. But they can twist ways. If they don't like you, they can twist things and make you feel that, yes, you are the problem. What I do understand is that like many people do not really like when someone is in her family and she's walking about tiptoeing as if she's apologizing for her presence. She'll be an easy prey. People are wicked. A lot of people are wicked now. Yes, but if you are assertive, nobody will dare. The worst they can call you is that you are a shirink, but you don't take any shit from anybody. I'm telling you, most of these issues, you allow things to happen. But if you are assertive, you know how to take care of yourself. And mostly women do not know how to. Like you said, it's a man's world. So the men are taking advantage of that situation. Maybe the woman is no more pretty and he's eyeing another one. So he find a way of sending her out by telling her that she's a witch. She bewitched him. He's no more successful. The children are this, they are that. And she will be there crying, because to her, she's the problem in that family. So what I'm saying is that we should be talking and telling people that this is how to go about, this is how to take care of yourself. Don't take any shit from anybody. We are not teaching them to be disobedient, but don't take any, trash from anyone, whether it's your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your husband, or whoever in a relationship, whatever. Don't take it. Yes. So this is the kind of attitude that, the women should have. And I'm telling you, by the time another thing, women themselves, sometimes they are each other's problems. Not even between co-wives, even between friends, a lot of women are jealous. So when maybe there's something that she's envying the other one about, she can go about calling the other one a witch. So if you allow it, before you know it, they start calling you names and it's all over the place. And if you can't protect yourself, then you're in for it.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
I also want to say something. We must fight this issue of witchcraft accusation. There's a bare need for us to really reach out to community leaders. Sometimes these customs, persons that give out these customs are community leaders. These customs and traditions have been there. When they do this and they do that, they say that this person is a witch. So there's also a need if we must fight this, we must win this battle. We must start the battle from the community level. Then we must try to see how we can get these community leaders, women leaders, CDC chairmen. We need to educate them. We need to enlighten them on what the law says. We need to make them know that that is not the norm at the international space. And this is what will happen. This is what will happen if you guys go on and keep accusing some person, making some person, calling them names such as bitches and all of that. So I just want to say that I just have to say is that there's a danger for us to start the sensitization from the community level, engaging these community leaders who are the custodians of our customs and tradition, so they can also understand. I'm sure it's ignorance. Sometimes it's ignorance. They don't even understand. They just say, it's our customs, our customs, leave it like that. So there's a danger for us to also engage. And once we start working, I'm sure there'll be activities we'll carry out after these wonderful conversations that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mamnuet, you've put in the messages how being an assertive child was a barrier for you, and you've also mentioned that there weren't resources for you. And I'm also as a woman, um, I'm feeling that yeah, sometimes we aren't assertive enough. Other times, assertiveness causes us to become a target. How do we navigate that?
This guy does
When
the question. I didn't get it right.
can you repeat the question?
I'll repeat the question.
Yes, I did. I kind of just pulled it out of thin air, but um, I'm hearing, the importance of resources and supports, and that women need to be assertive and not allow themselves to get pushed around. But also, um, Mamnunette mentioned that as a child she was assertive, and that labeled her as trouble. So I wondered, how do we navigate not how do we navigate assertiveness as our power and not as something that is used against us?
Let me
When
come
what's
in.
okay?
Go ahead.
Let me go ahead.
Okay. So I think what to do is to make sure these issues are deeply rooted and they go beyond the surface. If you are assertive and you have financial independence, then you're basically safe, because no one would accuse anyone they know they can benefit from. Most of the people who do the accusations are poor people. So they accuse people who don't have anything to offer, right?
Exactly.
Well, if you are financially stable, even if the accusations remain, there will never be any harmful practice against you. There will never be physical abuse. There will never be even verbal abuse, because they know you have the power to probably get the police involved, get them arrested or something. So, because I have been accused of being a witch, but not in that sense. What I did was, I did a video. I openly challenged witches. I said they should show any witch in this video, but I am challenging them to afflict me with an ailment, just in my advocacy bid to show people that this thing does not exist. I made that video probably about 5 years ago, challenging witches that, okay, I'm giving you 1 week to afflict me with an ailment that modern science, modern medicine cannot diagnose. And people came beneath that post to say the reason you are making this accusation is because you are a witch yourself, and they are your fellow comrades and they cannot handle. But I mean, it stops there. Nobody can come to me and say, I'm going to kill you for stopping my progress, or I'm going to kill you for making my child sick. So empowerment, I don't just have my voice, I have my financial strength, and they know what that can do for me. So that's important. The moment we deal with poverty and give women empowerment, it will reduce harmful practices against women drastically.
Yeah, I've said it.
Memnunat, would you like to comment too? Or Sophia or Dr. Harry or Leo?
Okay, I was reading Memuna's contribution about the fact that it was her assertiveness as a child that was used against her. That how can a small girl of a 10-year-old girl challenge elders or question the rule? So it was her assertiveness at that age. At that age, it was not your assertiveness. I know how it is with our community leaders. When elders talk, you don't talk back. So they were looking at it from another angle, that you are being disrespectful, not that from that angle of being a witch. To them, you were being disrespectful. When elders talk, the young ones listen. So you were talking back. You were not
No,
you were
can I explain? Can I say something? So
okay.
my uncles would come. Some of them will come to my mother's room, the ones that will rain insults, the ones that will want to hit her. Some of them even did hit her. And as a child, I'm like, why are you beating my mother? Why are you beating my mother? You can't keep beating my mother. My father is dead. At least we are mourning. She has lost her husband. And when it continued, at a point, I told them that nobody is going to enter my mother's room. Anything you want to do, you have to do it outside. And I was very tiny. This girl must be a witch. Her mother has given her that witchcraft. That's why every now and then, when we're coming here, she will talk. When we are gathered, they called my mother to tell her, my mother is not going anywhere. You can't keep humiliating her every night. Sometimes I'll be crying when I'm doing that. And then at a point, they're just like, I continued, even though they kept tagging me as witch. I will tell you that I endured it for years, but I was the same person who stopped that thing, that accusation of my mom. The last time I said to them, I said, any day, even if it's conversation, I don't care whether it's a joke. Anybody who refers to my mother as a witch, I'm going to take it up because I am no longer that child again and was endured it enough. So it was not that when they were talking, it was they were inflicting pain on my mother, and I am there with her. It's not once, it's not twice, severally. At the time they asked her to leave the house, she's no longer needed in this house. She should leave the house. She killed their brother. You can't keep watching, no matter how young a child is. They know when they are inflicting pain on their loved ones, their parents. And most of them, they react. Even kids that are 2, 3 years, when they see someone hitting their parents, they cry.
Yes. Hmm. It was unfortunate.
Yeah. Just want to add that's something again. You see, there is this lack of empathy. Yes, I think that the stories we're hearing are stories that take place in a society that is lacking an empathy. We can't leave people who are accused to their fate or to what they can do for themselves. Because actually, if we leave it that way, then why we're a society? And that's exactly what the point of we're making today. We are not giving. Yes, we lack empathy. We are not putting ourselves in the shoes of these people. We are not trying to imagine a world where they are also treated equal. Okay, for some reasons, they were not educated. And so, for some reasons, they are poor. And so, for some reasons, they are disabled. And so, we have to give. And that is it. So, I think that we have to, take responsibility. I understand that, yeah, these people also have to, they need to be more assertive. Okay, if I'm not assertive, then we must not all be assertive or in particular ways. So if, for instance, one doesn't have the ability to be assertive, then what happens? So I think that it still boils down to us. We learn. And this year's International Women's Day are telling us, yes, we need to give them, yes, so that we can address this and not leave these people to their fate, whether they're assertive or not assertive, whether they're educated, not educated, whether they are poor or rich.
Well, I have a question for any of you that would like to answer. This is the first that I am learning today that you would have to pay to police to do an investigation. What I'm wondering is those people that are poor, that don't have the funds to pay for an investigation, can they go to somebody else? Like if they don't go to an NGO or an advocacy group, can they go straight to the courts and make a complaint and hope that they find somebody that is compassionate enough to take their cause? Thank you.
Yes, yes, indeed they can. When you come to court, in fact, times without number, I have challenged lawyers. I will say, okay, counsels, this is a good case for you. Please volunteer. They call it pro bono. So they do offer pro bono cases. When you are lucky and there are lawyers in courts, of course, yes. And if not, sometimes I kind of channel it to FIDA. Since all of us are a group of women, female lawyers that are there to offer pro bono services. Like I am the vice chairperson and litigation is my constituency, even though I cannot come out and, being an arbitrator as a magistrate, I cannot come out, go to court on your behalf, but there are lawyers there that assist us, not only the female lawyers, but we have lawyers in town that offer pro bono cases. And these things are made kind of not mandatory, but it kind of boosts your CV when you have done pro bono cases. It shows that you have that empathy that Mr. Lee was talking about. So sometimes they do it even for their selfish reasons. Maybe you want to aim for an office in future. And when you are asked what you have done for your community, you can say that I have done pro bono cases, for such and such. And so you can, sometimes they don't do it out of goodwill, but they do accept pro bono cases. And it's an addition, a plus, on their CV, like I said. But as for the police, they collect money, but it's not legal. But if you want them to do something for you, you have to give. That is the plain truth. You know how corrupt our society is. We don't turn a blind eye. We know that this is true. They are highly corrupt, whether we like it or not. So if you don't give them money, they won't assist you. But if you can give, sometimes you, the accuser, you, the complainant, become the accuser. Why? Because the other person comes and he gives money. So they turn around and now accuse you of being the one, the culprit, even though you are like he said, there's no empathy. That is the truth. There's no empathy. And as I earlier mentioned, we have laws that cover these cases, these issues that, we have the Chapter 4 under the Constitution, we have the Penal Code, we have the Criminal Code, but the society itself condones this attitude, as we have been saying, from the house, from your family, from your siblings, if you are not well-to-do, from your mother, if you are not good looking sometimes, she will favor the finer case and push away the one that is not so fine. From your husband, if you have co-wives. From the society, if you're poor. If you go about tiptoeing as if you're apologizing for your presence, like I said. So you just have to be assertive. It's not a good thing. There are some people that are kind of like that. They are gullible. There's nothing you can do. And that's what we have been doing in FIDA. We protect such people. But they are there in the society, whether we like it. At the community level, they are being trampled on because they lack the support from home, from your mother's room. You can be raped, and your mother will be the first one to accuse you of being, available. What took you there? Something like that. So these are things that are real. We can't just close our eyes, but they are there. That's why FIDA is active, and thankful that the powers that be, the first lady in the state, is actually pro FIDA. So we have, is listening ear. So when we have such issues, she assists. We don't lack, a shoulder to cry on. So these are the things we are faced. It's not illegal, but the police do collect money. And if you come to court, definitely you'll be listened to and you get assistance when you come to court straight. But a lot of people are afraid of coming to court. I don't know why. Go to court, they will not want to hear that. As if the magistrate is there to skin them alive. We are human beings. We don't eat people. In fact, we are there for people. That is why we are there. Come to court. We will assist you. But they will not want to come. Even the educated ones. Somebody was asking me the other day, You mean the Ministry of Justice? But they are lawyers working for the government. I said, yes, I was once a lawyer. I was once a prosecutor before becoming a lower court magistrate. I served there for 4 years, and I served in that department. Citizens' right, go there and ask for the director. Tell them that you have problems. They will listen to you. A lot of people do not know. That is the plain truth. So we need to create awareness. We need to educate the masses. We are trying, but it's like it's not enough. A lot of people do not really know.
Thank you.
Leo,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I want to quickly add. Thank you, Sophia, for what you're doing, and exactly that's why we're here. You are a part.
Yeah.
But I want to say that what Sophia has said from our experience is more of exception than the rule. Okay. Yeah, from our experience. Yeah, but I acknowledge what she's doing. I know she's resourceful. She's supportive. When it comes, I always wish we'll have many more like her. That's the problem. We don't have that. And let me give you a quick example. The woman remanded in prison. We're trying to get court proceedings so that we can use that to prepare the fundamental right action and all that. Now they have compiled it. They said that the registrar has not signed. Why is the registrar has not signed? The registrar will need to be paid money before the registrar signs. Now they will not tell you, but you need to go there and look at this, and from their body movement for you to know very well that they have not signed because they need money. Okay? And you also have to use back channel to
And
reach out to them.
let me tell
Yeah.
you something, sir. As you are saying that I'm the exception, do you know that even among my colleagues, like you said, the exception, there was this time that I sent a lawyer to prison. He was there for 3 days. And that lawyer, even my colleagues from the bar were like, I didn't do it for fun. And I needed to teach him a lesson because he was there and he was disrespectful to the court. So I cited him for contempt. Even though I cannot do the proceeding myself, it is something that can be done by the High Court. But I remanded him to teach him a lesson because he was disrespectful to me. He wanted to show his clients that he can deal with the court. Sit down. You refuse to sit down. So I can be bold. Like I said, I didn't do it for fun. But like you said, I'm an exception, yes. And that is why, do you know that I have even convicted like 3 cases for rape? Then I was made to understand that it had exceeded my jurisdiction. Because when the ACJL first came on board, we thought that magistrate could try the offenses of rape. Initially, that was how it appeared to us. So we came to understand that after beyond 14 years, I did it for life. Those 3, I convicted them and sentenced them for life. So I was made to understand that it's just 14 years. Anything beyond 14 is above my jurisdiction. So that was how I stopped. But I can be bold and I don't mind. I can be fearless. Not that I'm doing it to impress anybody, but when it comes to targeting women, I can be passionate and I can go to any length to ensure that justice is done. So I believe you, those registrars, and I have sent like 4 or 5 registrars back to the High Court. You will not undermine me. I'm trying to do the right thing. You cannot come and try to, manipulate somebody. I buy my plain sheets. I don't like it when you ask litigants to pay for plain sheets or to pay for biro or whatever. I don't like it. And they do it to collect money. Indeed, we have bad registrars. They are supporting staff, but they give us bad things. They are there. And I don't know, some people must really be protecting their interests. And like you said, there are bad people everywhere and there are good ones. So the bad people abound. There are many. Just like in the police, there are a few good policemen around, and I know them. When you reach out to them, they assist you. And equally, there are bad magistrates and there are bad supporting staff.
Okay, let me quickly also say that if we must fight this fight, whether we like it or not, if you don't have money, the police will not move your case to the next level. Like we all know, visit to scene of crime. Money to file. Just this evening, a woman that is been about to be packed out of her home. And from where I am in this house, I was told that she was asked to bring 20,000. A woman that does not have money. So we also need that financial strength, in as much as financial support, in as much as we are providing free legal services. Like for us in Do Foundation and Association, we have our team of lawyers that are on ground to handle these cases. We provide legal services, but there's a limit to which and to what we can do. So this issue of money, I don't think it can ever stop. Somebody is being beaten because she's called a witch. Please, let's go quickly and see if the action is happening right now. Where's the fuel money? And I'm not standing in for the police, but most times I've also realized that their offices are not being funded. If you like, go and report to the commissioner of police. They know the system already. Their offices are not being funded. It's just that sometimes the police people are also very greedy. They want to take beyond what they should take. So it's just a challenge that is just going round and round. And we must, but my point is we need to have money to be able to help these survivors of which that have been accused of witchcraft and all of that. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything to add to the conversation? Well, what do you need from government and from international organizations, from the public to create real change for these women?
Yeah, like I said, we're doing it now to create more awareness, to talk, come out and talk and talk and talk until they listen to us. Yes, we don't just do it here and leave it here. We continue, we take it from there. If it means going out with placards so that we can be listened, let's do it. Let's continue from here. Let's not just stop after this. Let's continue to create awareness. Let's reach them at the grassroots level. Explain to them that this is how you can go about to seek for redress. Then take shifts. There are people that are there out there for you that can assist you. And then tell them about the provision of the Constitution, which prohibits torture and degrading treatment. You know, that no one should be subjected to torture or inhuman treatment. So let's create this awareness. Let's tell them about the laws that are there to protect them. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hawa, go ahead.
Let me say something now. Whatever efforts we want to embark on, whatever steps we want to take, if we don't have the buy-in of our leaders, it might not yield the kind of results that we want to achieve or want to get. So I would suggest that moving forward, we need to get the buy-in of key stakeholders in government, various organizations, human rights organizations. We need to have those key stakeholders join us in the campaign against witchcraft accusation. Like if we have the buy-in of the first ladies, it will also help to carry this campaign far. So we need to get the buy-in of key stakeholders like the Speaker of the House of Assembly. We need to get them to be involved. If we can even get the governors involved, when the governor stands up to speak, everybody listens. If we do that, it will also help. Then for the various states in Nigeria, let's see if we can get ambassadors, campaign ambassadors. And then we put in funds and then we go around and then we talk about it, keep talking about it on all our social media platforms. And then in the various languages in Nigeria, we can target some states. If we do that, I'm sure it will create that awareness and enlightenment that what some persons have been doing is actually wrong. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
I would just want to add that in the light of the this year's theme, the theme for the International Women's Day, I would say let's give as individuals, as organization, as association. Let's give. I think that we,
Yeah.
is important that our institution, they should start working. Yes. The UN has a resolution. Beyond that resolution, what are UN agencies doing? UN, they have offices in countries across Africa and across the world. So it is important that they mainstream these cases. Yes. And again, the media, we also have to reach out to the media. Now, let me tell you the challenge we have. When there are cases of accusation, like we saw in River State, it's all over the media. A brother murdered his brother for witchcraft. All the mainstream media, they will carry the story. Now, when you go to the media to say, we want to educate the people, they said, you have to bring money. We have to. So you don't pay to spread the sensational news of, an elderly woman abandoned for witchcraft. An elderly woman, sometimes they say that a witch has crash landed somewhere, or a witch has confessed. Now, if you want to go and correct the misconception,
Hopefully his connection will jump back on. Hawa, do you want to jump in while we wait for Leo?
Okay. Yes, let me jump in. So the question was what the government should do, what international organizations should do. For the government, I'll keep insisting empowerment, create job opportunities for women. If a woman is empowered, then she has, sorry, I'm trying to lower my hands. Please just ignore it. If a woman is empowered, then she has skills. Is Dr. Leo back?
Not yet.
Okay. If a woman is empowered, she has scaled the first hurdle. She has scaled the first hurdle of being ever accused, how much more harmed for witchcraft accusation. The government needs to do that. International communities, international organizations need to fund organizations like AFO. We need funding because the moment a Nigerian hears witchcraft, they're backing out. So we don't even expect any kind of funding from Nigeria, to be honest, because they say, don't you people want to change the name of your organization? Why are you talking about witchcraft? What is it you're doing? Even when we explain that this is what the organization does, they say, okay, find a way to remove witchcraft from the name of of the organization. That alone is an issue because of this inbuilt superstitious belief that I don't want to have anything to do with anything that has to do with witchcraft. So funding is important as far as international organizations are concerned, especially talking about such issues. For us, I work for the government, so we don't need to pay. But there are not many journalists like me who are willing to talk about this topic. That is why the platform is not being utilized. And there's just so much I can do, so little I can do. If not, we have the platform, we have the coverage. Radio Nigeria has a listenership of over 40 million people. And we're the largest radio network in Africa. So we have the platform, but the journalists don't have the passion. This is not a topic they even want to talk about because of the stigma and whatever. And then as individuals, what we can do is start small. Don't wait for an accusation to happen before you have a conversation about witchcraft accusations of you. In your small, my mother is in this meeting. She's part of this meeting. All my family members know my stance about this, and I encourage them to talk to their friends and their colleagues about it. In small conversations, don't be afraid to be assertive. This is where our assertiveness should come. When we are having conversations, or when you passively hear someone mention something about witches, that is the time for you to strike. That is the time for you to disappear. It's a very difficult conversation. I am doing my master's currently in critical thinking. And just yesterday, we were having a similar conversation about spirits and witches and all that. And there were people in my class, someone who has a PhD in philosophy, who believes in witchcraft. So you can imagine it's not even about the education. It's deeply rooted. If someone who has been to school so much so he has a PhD, but still believes that there are people who can fly on broomstick, how much more someone who has even never been to a school? So it's a difficult conversation to have, but it is a compulsory conversation to have. We must keep talking about it. We shouldn't wait until someone has been harmed before we talk about it. That is just the way to go about it. If we keep waiting for an accusation to happen, then we are not dealing with it the right way. We should keep talking in small circles and never underestimate the power of social media. Wake up one morning and just post and say, look, there is no such thing like witchcraft. They will come for you on that post, but you have no idea how much that little post must have done, because there's probably someone who has been thinking about it, who has doubts, but does not want to speak out. And they're just waiting to see someone else who says something similar. And they'll say, oh, so it's not only me thinking about it. You need to come out of the shadows. We need to come out of the shadows. We need to take advantage of our little circles, our social media handles, our offices, any opportunity you have. Talk about the non-existence of witchcraft before talking about harmful practices against women who have been accused of witchcraft.
Thank you. Mom Nunat, did you want to follow with anything? Speakers, you are welcome to make any more comments. I also want to say to our attendees, if you have any questions that you would like to hear answered, you can type that in the chat and we will answer those.
I would like to wrap up my own contribution, by saying that yes, Howard has also made it an important point that all of us from wherever we can do something. Yes, because that's exactly one of the things that motivated me, to do what I'm doing now in terms of the advocacy work. Because when we feel helpless, you felt helpless as a child, as a student. You're not an adult. You're getting old. You're still feeling helpless. You know that something has to be done. We cannot wait till we have all the resources. So let us begin to do something. When sometimes you can share the news. Like now, some people tag me. They send me that's what you could do, or you can help. Call somebody, inform somebody, educate somebody, ask somebody a question. How do you know? Do you have the evidence? Or sometimes you're on a WhatsApp group, they'll tell you a witch has crash landed. You ask the person, what do you mean? Can a spirit crash land or something spiritually? So do something in line with educating and reorienting the people's mind. I think it's gonna go a long way in maybe triggering a conversation, a process, and a paradigm shift. So in terms of also action, also do something when you see people maybe either beating up someone or something like that. Try and take action. Ring up somebody, call the police, and all that. Because sometimes, witchcraft accusation is a matter of life and death. So if you're able to take action, that little action could save somebody's life. So what is it? Just do something. You always have the capacity to do something. Let me also go back to the theme for this year. You have the capacity to give something.
Thank you so much, Leo. Speakers, do you have any closing words that you would like to share?
Just that, like he says, we need to give, we need to stand for the vulnerable in the society. We want to suggest that when someone is attacked by people around them, we we ensure that we're there to stop the attack. We don't allow it to escalate. And we're trying what we can in FIDA. About the paralegals that I earlier on talked to you about, they are there to stop such escalation. That is why we train them, so that they can nip it in the bud before it escalates. We were really trying, my organization. We are trying, we want to take it further, just that we're short of funds presently. But we are going to take it further. We want to continue, training other communities. And we want to do it nationwide. Yes. So from now, we're doing what we can. We are giving back.
Hello, for
Sorry.
us, do foundation and the expectation of women against. Okay. I should let you. Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to make one more point in conclusion. Now, we have a case in Imo State right now in southern Nigeria. Two of the accusers are living in the United States. They are Nigerians, but they live in the US. And they are funding the accusation. They are the one funding, they bribing, sending money to Nigeria. They're using to bribe the police. They're using to bribe the courts. They're using to, fuel, bribe the vigilante, the traditional and community leaders. So we are not just facing a Nigerian case or a local case. It is international. And it is important we get this news out and let the world understand that, accusers, many of the accusers, or those who fund accusation, they don't live in Nigeria. They live in Europe. They live in the United States. Some of them, if they have challenges and issues, they'll be blaming some women or some family members back home in Nigeria. So what I'm also trying to, the point I would like us to take away is that we also need maybe some of these countries, their embassies, their agencies to understand that they can also give us in terms of their resources in making sure that there are international consequences for funding or fueling witch hunting and witchcraft accusation, whether in Nigeria or in other African countries.
Okay. Just to add to what you said, we must always have evidence when we raise issues like that. If they are truly funding, I just want to say that you should, whatever you're saying, should be backed up with evidence so that you can really take it on board. But for us in G Foundation and the Association of Women Against Gender-Based Violence, I just want to say that we're also committing to doing our bits. We want to give back by ensuring that all our social media platforms, we're always on, especially on radio. We're on radio, and then we have our social media spaces. So we'll condemn it. We'll keep talking about it until somebody gets to know about it. But in terms of going to the communities, it's going to be a difficult one for us because that has to do with robust planning and funding. But we'll try our best always to use our platforms, the ones that we've already paid for, like on radio, to talk about it as much as we can. And whoever that is available, especially Dr. Leo Igwe, we want to invite you to Bielsa so that you can also talk about it. Thank you.
Any other speaker voices before we close out? Thank you so much for your expertise and insights and your sacrifices and your work, everyone here who is on the ground in your community, advocating and protecting. Listeners, you're hearing to give. You have a way to give. It's your voice, it's your wealth, it's your ideas, it's your protection. You need to give. And all of us giving together is what is going to make that shift. Thank you for joining with us today.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We'll
Thank
be
you, everybody.
releasing this as a podcast this week. In our show notes, we'll have links to the organizations that have been represented here today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
please visit endwitchhunts.org to find out more about witch hunts worldwide and to locate Josh and Sarah's wonderful podcast links. If you have any further questions, please contact us and we will work to get the information that you need. And thank you for sharing the International Women's Day 2026 with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Evan.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Mhm.
Bye.